What we really hope to see in a potentially a new era in San Francisco politics.
New numbers in the mayor's race, the latest results, and how the famously progressive city has been moving toward the middle.
I don't think it's about any of these labels. I think it is just about the basics working in the city.
And across the bay,
we want to see change. We want to see the real change.
Two leaders on the verge of being recalled were asking who would take their place and when.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Elizabeth Cook.
In for Liz, and we have some breaking news in the San Francisco mayoral race. Daniel Lurie has just widened his lead over incumbent Mayor London Breed. The elections office just releasing these new results. They show Lurie with 56% of the vote compared to Breed's 44%. The elections office says there are still 143,000 votes left to be counted. So it is not over yet. The rest of the candidates have already been eliminated because of ranked choice voting. We're going to have more on what all this means. Well, we have some major breaking news in the race for San Francisco mayor. It looks like it has been decided, and that the city's new mayor is going to be Daniel Lurie. We're hearing that London Breed just posted on X, formerly Twitter, conceding the race to Daniel Lurie. That is after we got another round of ranked choice voting numbers in just about an hour ago. Again, Mayor London Breed of San Francisco conceding to Daniel Lurie on X just within the past few minutes. So we are going to continue covering this all night long here on KPIX. In the meantime, we're keeping a watch on congressional races across the country. Will Republicans hold on to power in the House of Representatives? It is still unclear right now. More than 20 races have not been called. But as of now, Republicans lead 206 to 192. It takes 218 seats to rule the House, which neither party has reached yet. In the Senate, bit of a different story. Republicans have clinched control. That is 52 to 44. After 4 years in the minority, the GOP has wrestled back control of the Senate. All right, let's get back to the San Francisco mayor's race and our major breaking news. It looks like it is decided. Here is another look at the latest numbers with plenty of votes still outstanding right now. But Daniel Lurie is up about 56% to London Breed's 44%. Those numbers include an additional 25,000 vote by mail ballots that have been tabulated since Election Day. Again, there are more ballots to be counted, but Mayor London Breed has conceded. This race, just one example of a political shift in the city. As Wilson Walker reports, San Francisco's famously progressive voters appear to be moving toward the center.
We still have a lot of ballots to count, so we don't know exactly how things are going to go. But what we really hope to see in a potentially a new era in San Francisco politics is more collaboration between people.
A new era in San Francisco politics. Sachin Agarwal is thinking big. And why not? His Grow SF group launched barely 4 years ago, and since then they have successfully campaigned to recall 3 progressive school board members, a progressive district attorney. Earlier this year, they won a raft of centrist reforms at the ballot box, and now it appears they will get one of their moderate choices for mayor and still more moderates on the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, I don't think it's about any of these labels. I think it is just about the basics working in the city. Like, our government should deliver for the citizens here.
What I'm seeing in this election is that they were looking for complete control, and they didn't get it. It looks right now like they didn't get it. Like, the progressives are still holding their own in some areas. Now, let's keep in mind, we have not had a progressive mayor in San Francisco since 1987 when Art Agnos won.
Tim Redmond, longtime writer at 48 Hills, says progressives will lose some more ground on the board in this election, with 2 more races still up in the air, but he says all of that should be put into some context.
So at a time when national politics looks really bleak, it looks like progressives in San Francisco are still holding their own against a really massive billionaire assault.
Do you have any concern, now that we've gone through a couple cycles like this, that sort of pointing at the funding is maybe ineffectual?
Right. That's the big question, of course, is, and it's the same question with, things like ethics violations. Right. Mark Farrell just got this huge fine. Do the voters really care? Can we, as progressives, and I'm a journalist, but as from 48 Hills, but as you know, I'm a progressive journalist. Can we make that point that it's not just the money, it's the agenda behind it?
I think people in San Francisco, they just want the basics to work. And our leaders in City Hall have been failing at that.
So it is not just the mayor's race. You have two progressive supervisors fighting to hold on to their seats as well. So a lot to watch as we all wait to see what kind of shape San Francisco government takes next year.
Meantime, San Francisco's moderate Democrats seem to be poised to notch another long-sought victory, winning a majority on the city's Board of Supervisors. There is a tie right now in the race to represent San Francisco's Richmond district. It is between incumbent Supervisor Connie Chan and challenger Marjan Philauer. Philauer is a moderate who campaigned on public safety. And over in District 5, incumbent Supervisor Dean Preston is trailing against his challenger, Bilal Mahmood. Preston is the board's most high-profile progressive. Right now, Mahmood is up 7 points. The Elections Department says they're going to release the next update at 4 tomorrow afternoon. There are still 143,000 ballots to be counted, but as we've been talking about this afternoon, Mayor London Breed has already conceded her race to Daniel Lurie. Stay with us for more election results. Coming up after the break, we're going to have the latest on 2 consequential recalls in Alameda County, and we are taking a look at what happens if the DA and Oakland's mayor are both kicked out of office. Plus, our political expert weighing in on these new results out of San Francisco. We're going to ask what this Lurie win could mean for the city. We are continuing to follow breaking news out of San Francisco. Big shakeup in the mayoral race. Here is part of the statement just released by Mayor Breed. She says she's always worked to be a mayor for all San Franciscans, end quote. During my final 2 months as your mayor, I will continue to lead this city as I have from day one as San Francisco's biggest champion. Well, joining me now to talk about this breaking news, change in leadership at San Francisco City Hall, is Jason McDaniel with the Political Science Department at San Francisco State. Wow, big afternoon. What do you make of this?
No surprise. There's 143,000 votes still to be counted, and I expected the mayor to wait a little bit, but they apparently realized that the votes that have been counted will look a lot like the votes that are yet to be counted, and that's not going to be enough for the mayor to overtake Daniel Lurie. She just did not hold on to her voting coalition that supported her back in 2018, lost a lot of support to candidates like Mark Farrell and Daniel Lurie, and that's didn't get enough second choice support and third choice support from voters that supported other candidates, and that's why she lost.
So a referendum on how things have been going in San Francisco. So many unknowns, though, when it comes to Daniel Lurie. He has never held a major public office. What do you think we're getting into here?
Today I've been calling him kind of an amateur mayor. He has no experience, and historically, San Francisco voters don't vote for candidates who don't have any governing experience at all. His campaign was one that was not heavy on policy details. Not that that's a bad thing, but he, has a clear mandate to change things in City Hall, and I think personnel will be his policy. I think it depends on who he hires. If he hires incredibly, competent people who can, enact the kinds of vision that he lays out. But he has to lay out a vision, I think, for what he's going to do as mayor of San Francisco, because frankly, his campaign was very light on those kinds of details. And his policy statements didn't differ that much from what we've seen, especially in the last year from Mayor Breed.
So how do you think he won?
Well, this was an anti-incumbent election. Most San Francisco voters felt like the city was on the wrong track. They were dissatisfied. Mayor Breed's campaign improved her numbers over the last year, but not enough to save her job. And the majority of voters felt like there needed to be a change. I think the idea of public safety, homelessness, some of the public disorder. A lot of people, although they acknowledge there have been some improvements in the last year, felt like that the mayor did not deserve another chance to keep that progress going. And so enough of them, especially I think the more moderate voters, perhaps those from the marina, maybe some of the West Side voters. That seems to be where Mayor Breed lost a lot of support, and I think the issues of homelessness, public safety, drug use. That seems to be the overwhelming reason why Mayor Breed lost, even though her policies will probably not be much different from what Daniel Lurie will do as mayor.
Well, right. And Jason, as you mentioned, Daniel Lurie has been pretty light on policies as far as information. I mean, what could we expect to change in the homelessness and drug use situation?
Maybe it'll be the kind of thing where the sort of city family, as it's sometimes called, the staff and the bureaucracy will be shaken up to such extent that they'll bring in people who will take different approaches. That is, I think, would be an optimistic take, and that might happen. Otherwise, I think the mayor's going to be learning on the job. I mean, I think he'll have a board of supervisors that will look a lot different from what it's looked like in the past. I think he'll probably find people on that board of supervisors who have lots of ideas and who are willing to work with him. But otherwise, I think it's unclear what we're going to see in the future.
Yeah, when it comes to learning on the job, is that dangerous for San Francisco as a whole? We don't know what's going to happen. It could be a loose cannon.
Well, I doubt it'll be dangerous. He's not campaigned as a loose cannon, and he's campaigned, predominantly in line with where I think a lot of the majority of San Francisco voters are on some of the major issues, at least right now. I do think he's going to have to learn how to be that best representative. I think, especially in an era of another Trump presidency, the idea that San Francisco voters are going to be looking to their mayor for leadership. To fight for them against a federal government that might very well target San Francisco and has in the past. And so whether he can cultivate relationships at the state and federal level, that will be an open question. I doubt it will be a loose cannon and it'll be bad, but he will definitely be learning on the job. And this is not an easy or entry level job.
No, absolutely not. All right, Jason McDaniel, we appreciate your perspective on that. It is going to be interesting. And again, we're going to continue to follow this breaking news all day long and in the months to come here on KPIX. Meantime, 2 leaders in Alameda County appear to be on their way out in 2 voter-backed recalls. The results aren't final there yet, but with 100% of precincts reporting, 65% of voters so far said yes to recalling Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao, and similar numbers in the recall vote against Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price. But if those recalls do move forward, which it looks like they will, who's going to take the reins and when? And does that solve all the alleged problems in the area? Now, John Ramos reports it's complicated.
It was the issue of crime that sealed the fate of both Sheng Thao and Pamela Price. But just removing them from office doesn't change that. So the question now is, what's next?
Recall Price! Recall Price! Recall Price!
It took less than 2 years for people to start calling for Pamela Price's head. She ran promising criminal justice reform, but quickly got a reputation of being soft on crime, with much of the criticism coming from the families of crime victims. Dan Lindheim, a professor of public policy at UC Berkeley, says the process for replacing Price is fairly straightforward, with Alameda County supervisors appointing a replacement until a new election in 2026.
And so part of the debate is, do they pick somebody who's already been district attorney like Nancy O'Malley, or do they pick one of the people who lost to Pamela Price, or do they pick one of their own? Or, I don't know what their plan is for that.
But recall leader Carl Chan says whoever is chosen has to represent a real change.
She doesn't understand the job of the district attorney. So we need someone they got coming in, they totally understand what this job is all about and who they are serving.
Mayor Sheng Thao also ran into trouble early. Just a couple months into office, she suspended and later fired Police Chief LaRon Armstrong. He was well liked in Chinatown at a time of hate and crime directed at the AAPI community. Chan, who also pushed Thao's recall, says she drove a wedge between those seeking safety and those seeking social justice.
We are saying this mayor has been doing a terrible job in a way to dividing people. So I need someone coming in as the next mayor and who can unify the people.
But replacing the mayor will be more complicated. Immediately after the vote is certified, the job falls to the president of the city council. That would be Nikki Fortunato Bass. but she's currently running for county supervisor. If she wins, she probably wouldn't take the job of mayor, and the council would appoint someone else. But either way, the council will reorganize in January, and they could select a new president.
And then there might be a different mayor. So Nikki could be mayor for a couple of weeks, assuming she loses her seat, loses the supervisor seat, and then they could have another mayor or not. And so there could be 3 different people, there could be 2 different people, who knows? And we don't even know who's going to be on the city council yet.
And that's where things get really interesting, because LaRon Armstrong is running for the at-large council seat. If he should win, it is theoretically possible that he could be appointed mayor, replacing the very person who fired him as police chief. Lindheim says this kind of recall drama is happening because ranked choice voting is electing people who do not have a strong base of support in the first place.
We're going to be back with more on our breaking news out of San Francisco with Mayor Breed conceding the race to Daniel Lurie. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching. You can always get all the latest headlines and weather over on Pix Plus. And remember to like and click the button on the bottom left of your screen to subscribe for the biggest Bay Area news.